if everybody can find it, European and Asian telecoms. If you're interested in the environment, it's a very interesting article, I promise you. If you're interested in telecoms, it's an interesting article. And the fabulous thing about this research, I don't know who wrote it, but they obviously knew what they were talking about. The fabulous thing about this research was on their journey of investigating telecommunications companies around the world and surfing information from the internet. We discovered something called the 1% phenomenon. And we found that Japanese telecom, NTT, German telecom, Malaysian telecom, taking a daughter to school, British telecom, were so big as companies in their countries that they consumed 1% of their company's energy, 1% of the nation's paper, 1% of the workforce was employed. Incredible. 1%. That means you'd only need 100 of those companies, and they'd use all the electricity, all the employees, yeah, and so on and so on. So it's a fabulous piece of research. I would recommend reading it. And so that's what you've got to do now, is you've got to read it and speed read it and highlight bits of it that are significant and try and find the bits that you put together to write a conclusion. Now a conclusion, remember, is tell them what you've told them. You remember that? Step 1, tell them what you're going to tell them. Step 2, tell them the article. And what you'll notice about this article when you get to the end is the conclusion is cut off. So I want you, as you read it, to highlight some of the significant bits in the article. You've only got a quarter of an hour, and then together we're going to try and construct a conclusion. All right? Together. Quarter of an hour, speed read, highlighter pens at the ready, underline if you haven't got a highlighter, write in the margin if that's one of your techniques. If you want some stick-it labels, you've only got to shout and you can have them if you want to make notes on stick-it labels. But here is another tip in itself. The process of learning is as important as the content. So the way in which you analyse data, highlighter pens, underlining, stick-it labels, because the advantage of stick-it notes or whatever is that you can then take them off and rearrange them in order. So think about whether you want to use stick-it labels, whether in future you want to highlight or photocopy these articles with big margins so you can make notes on the margins. However you do it, think about does it work for you, and if it doesn't, try something different. Because if you do what you've always done, you get what you want to get. So a quarter of an hour, and then we'll have a go at writing a conclusion together. Okay. So let's have a go at trying to do a conclusion to this article. Does anybody like to just start or throw in some interesting facts about? So it was all about the role of telecommunication companies in terms of sustainability and their environmental impact. Yeah. And the paper concentrated on what? Europe and Asian telecommunication companies as illustrative of what might be happening around the world. Where was most of the information gleaned? Does it say that? Where the empirical data came from? A lot of it was from the internet, and where do you think you would get other company reports? So most of the empirical data for this paper was gleaned from, yeah? So these are the kind of things we can say. And ideally in a conclusion, the best thing is to start at the beginning and do what you're already skilled at doing, highlight, make notes, and if you actually strung together all the key words in the left-hand column that I got you to practice and put them in a line, you've got the storyline, in essence, haven't you? And you can eliminate or expand the storyline as you wish. Because a good conclusion really tells the whole story, but doesn't repeat it all. An introduction, as you can see, wouldn't tell it in that detail, would it? But a conclusion would.